Welcome back to episode 70 of the ATD Baseball Podcast. Baseball's here. We've played a week's worth of games. Some teams have gotten off to a good start. Others haven't. I'm not going to mention which ones have and which haven't. But um, we got games to talk about. Finally. Uh, before I get into what we need to talk about today, gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Ah, I'm all right. Baseball is back. Makes me happy. Even if I've been tuning into my crappy Phillies performances.
Eagles
Um,
training camp, get ready for
yeah, yeah. Extend Jordan Mailata. Got that done for the Eagles. No, I'm kidding. Um, yeah, it's good that baseball's back. I'm ecstatic about that, and just great to have games back, and the content that comes with that is awesome. So I'm pumped for that. And even if my Phillies aren't doing great, aren't off to a hot start, it's what happened last year when we made it to the NLCS. I'm not worried about it. Kyle, I know you're doing better strictly based off of how the Yankees are doing so far.
100%. We have now entered the time of year where my mood and everything that goes along with it is strictly depending on whether or not the Yankees win or lose. So in that context, I am doing fantastic. Yeah, just glad baseball's back, man. I mean, we're back into the swing of things, and it feels great.
Yes, it does. And out here, finished my first homestand. Am I tired? Yes, because it seems like I've been running around doing stuff for the last 2 weeks, going back to the Florida trip. But you know, these last couple weeks, you've been, you've been seeing Otani in his Dodger uniform, and it's like, okay, like this is fun, but it's spring training. This is fun, but yeah, it's in Korea. It's real. It is
Sure
real
is.
now. Seeing him in that beautiful, beautiful home Dodger white jersey. Fantastic. Now, has he played that great to start the year? No. But it's a long season for a reason. And he's going to be just fine. But topics that we're going to get into today. I mean, you kind of just heard it from Kyle and I. Our two teams getting off to a pretty damn good start, as they should. No surprises there. On the flip side, the hell's going on in Miami? Jazz Chisholm, kind of not a good look right now. Not a good look right now. And then, of course, the A's in the news again for the wrong reasons. They are officially going to Sacramento starting next year, which means that this is their final season in Oakland, which is crazy. But we'll get to that at the end. Dodgers, Yankees, hot starts. Um, I know Matt doesn't want to spend too much time on this because his team's not involved, which is okay. Um, I'll just start off the top. I'll just start off the top of the Dodgers, and then Kyle can jump in on his Yankees. The thing that is so scary about this team right now, I just mentioned it. Shohei Ohtani has not been hitting the ball well this to start this season. He's getting on base with walks, but he's also striking out a lot, and he's just a tick late on some of these pitches. And he mentioned it himself a couple of days ago that his timing's still a little bit off. But you know what the great thing about that is? Dodgers are still winning games. They took 3 out of 4 from St. Louis. They just swept the crappy Giants. Um, Otani doesn't have to be the hero. Doesn't have to be. He can just be himself. He's not. He doesn't have to worry about if Anthony Rendon is going to drive him in, or Taylor Ward is going to drive him in. No disrespect to those guys, but
Wow, come on. You meant a little disrespect to Rento.
I did. Yeah, that's why he got. That's why opening day. That's why he got thrown out at third. He had a little angel PTSD. He remembered that. Oh yeah, Anthony Rendon is not coming up to plate next. You know who is? Freddie Freeman, and he's gonna drive me in, and I don't have to kill myself trying to get to third base. I can take my double and trust that my guys behind me are gonna drive me in, and so far they have. Um, can you imagine what this team is gonna look like when Otani gets going here?
No, I
Unbeatable,
can't.
unstoppable. I can see it. But Dodgers off to a good start. Pitching fantastic. Tyler Glass now 2-0, looking great so far. Bobby Miller, fantastic. Yamamoto bounced back. Not surprised at all. Even shout out to Big Maple. James Paxton giving me 5 solid innings there. Yes, fantastic. Now listen, is the pitching always going to be great? No. And then the Dodgers even beat Logan Webb on a bullpen day. They got him out of there after like 4 innings, and they still lost to our bullpen. And then one final thing for me, shout out to Teoscar Hernandez. Off to a great start. That was not one of the. It was a big move at the time, but you see why they brought him in for a season, and so far it's paid off great. Great locker room guy, and he's producing on the field. That's all I got for me. Dodgers off to a good start. Keep it up.
All right, Kyle, hit your Yankees, and then I'm going to hit both. Round it out.
All right. I'm going to hit them hard right here. I'm going to say something, and I'm going to follow up with exactly what Melo had said about Shohei Ohtani. Aaron Judge has not done shit to start this season besides yesterday's game against the Diamondbacks, and they're winning ball games, and it feels great. That is something us Yankee fans are not used to. Aaron Judge, if he has a bad game in the last few seasons, we're losing that game. That's just how it is. And we saw it when that Dodger right field wall took him out last year, and the Yankees ended up with 82-80 record. Juan Soto is an absolute difference maker. Oh, it feels great. He is embodying everything it means. Yes, 100%. He embodies everything it means to be a Yankee right now. He is doing his thing, and it's such a great sight to see. Get that number 2 superstar with Judge there. And when both these guys are clicking and they're on their games, that is going to be scary seeing Soto come up and Judge second. So yeah, pitching. Carlos Rodon looks great. Marcus Stroman looks great. Nestor, got to figure out that first inning, man. Other than that, he's looked okay. Obviously, until we get Garrett Cole back, I'm not going to feel confident in this pitching rotation. Bullpen, they've been doing their thing. They're taking shots at MLB right now for not ranking them in top 10 bullpens, especially after coming off of last year when they had the best bullpen ERA in all of baseball. Ian Hamilton is a dog. He's been solid. No, this bullpen's been nails, and it's been such a bright spot to see. And going back to the lineup here, I mean, this lineup's producing. And it's like these games where Judge is not producing. And even Soto, he had, I believe, 1 or 2 games in Arizona where he wasn't himself. Cabrera's looking great. Volpe has been taking that sophomore season step, and holy shit, does he look good. He looks like a completely different hitter at the plate. No, these guys are producing, and it's been a very, very cool thing to see. And back in the Bronx tomorrow against the Blue Jays, Marcus Stroman on the bump. I'm not sure if you guys seen his Instagram story today, but he is beyond excited for that start. And just to round this all out here, I want to take a quick little moment here. Brian Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner, please look at Twitter for once and look at the quotes that came out today about Juan Soto. I want to just very, very quickly reread the quote that Juan Soto had said today. I am open to any negotiation. Cashman has my lawyer's number. I am here to play baseball. I, along with every single other Yankee fan, wants to see this man in pinstripes for the rest of his career. Future Hall of Famer. He's on that trajectory right now. And we want to see that 1-2 superstar of him and Judge for the next 7-8 years. We want to see that. So make it happen. That's all I have on my Yankees. Keep going.
And sorry, Matt. I know before you go,
you're good.
I forgot the one final thing, the most important and most impressive thing. Big shout out to Mookie Betts. I know we're only a week into the season.
Yes.
But he is currently leading every stat in the National League right now. Average, home runs, RB something. He's leading everything. That's the point of this. And was I not right? I know we're only a week into the season, and I know so we still got a long way to go. We got a long way to go. But my MVP prediction in the National League, is it looking fantastic right now? That's all.
It is. It is. I'll give you that. You and Kyle were right on it with Mookie Betts, and he is, like Melo said, leading the National League, if not Major League Baseball, in a lot of stats so far. Now I'm going to roll with the Yankees here first. It is absolutely huge how much of a difference, Juan Soto on this team makes. The way, like Kyle said, having a second superstar to have Aaron Judge's back. Aaron Judge was not off to a great start to the season. We'll see if he turns it around starting now, but still, Juan Soto's his ability to chip in throughout the games. He hasn't had, huge like 2 doubles and a home run games, but like obviously he's good at getting on base, and that's a huge thing. And the steps that some of these younger guys have taken, like Volpe and like Cabrera, to which their offensive numbers are starting to look a little bit better compared to last year. With Volpe, wasn't quite, what you were looking for. And then he had like a 4-hit game the other day, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's huge when you're getting contributions from these guys that you were really not seeing from last year, and you're not Judge dependent anymore. Judge doesn't have to hit 2 home runs for you to win every single game. You can get offense from lots of different places this year, and that's big for the Yankees. And also a reminder, you haven't seen a Garrett Cole day yet, and that would be
heaven.
2 starts by now probably, and maybe 1. I'm not sure if they'd be around the second time. They'd be about soon time for his second start here. So that's huge as well. Once you can factor that in, scooting everybody down a slot in the rotation, you're getting the great Carlos Rodon at this point, which you weren't really sure what you're going to get. And granted, it's only 1 week into the season, but still, you like a good start rather than a bad start. On to the Dodgers.
Matt, real quick here. Real quick, I promise. This pitching, I just want to note this. It was against the Houston Astros in that first series, 4-game sweep, by the way. They trailed every single game. They trailed, and their pitching wasn't doing fantastic. And this lineup came back and won this ball game for them and completed the 4-game sweep. Just want to put that in there as well. Wonderful.
All right. Yes, on to the Dodgers now, and kind of is the Death Star right here. Just the way that their season has started, all the players that they have brought in recent years, and even just in this offseason, contributing, and just an offensive juggernaut. Ohtani, like Melo said, just getting started. Betts off to an incredibly hot start. Freddie Freeman doing what he does best, which is having 3 hit games, driving into getting a walk in there as well. And then, like Melo said earlier, I'm going to echo that, Teoscar Hernandez. This guy has stepped up, and it's not necessarily a place a guy you were depending on to chip in with some big home runs in that opening series against, well, not opening series, but the opening day series against the Cardinals there. Wasn't a guy you were counting on necessarily. He slots in at like the 6 hole for the Dodgers lineup? Something like 6 or 7?
I think the highest I've seen him so far this season is 5th. But yeah,
okay,
right in the middle of that order.
Yeah. Not saying that the bottom of the lineup can't contribute, especially on a star-studded team like the Dodgers, but huge to get production from him there. The rotation as well has been just wonderful, dominant almost. Bobby Miller, great start. Tyler Glasnow, 2 very nice starts. And then James Paxton. I mean, yeah, like Melo said, awesome start. We weren't necessarily looking for him to be not an ace, but like you needed a 5th guy in the rotation, add another lefty in there, and you got to get James Paxton. He'll be average. He had like a 5 innings pitched. It was like 4 hits, no earned runs. Beautiful start. I mean, what else? What can go wrong for the Dodgers right now? Really nothing. They've been doing everything right, everything well. They're not undefeated, but still 7-2. sitting very pretty right now, I think, and they might be, the team that's gonna challenge the Mariners' regular season win record, because people were saying that early in the offseason and we're like, oh, well, let's see it first. Now we've seen it. I've seen enough where I say the Dodgers are in every game that they're in, whether they're 0-0 at the start of the game. Obviously, they're in that game. But even if they're down 4 runs, 2 innings, and that's a race. They could be up 6-4. I mean, I wouldn't bet against the Dodgers at this point at all. So,
yeah,
Melo,
they were down 4-0 Sunday Night Baseball in front of America. Came back and won the game 5-4. And in terms of the rotation, you know who's coming back at the end of this month? Walker fucking Buehler. Oh, and that just adds another arm to this already loaded rotation.
Yeah. Insane. I don't want to talk about we talked about the highs. Now we got to hit the low point here with the Marlins.
The Angels? Oh,
no,
actually, they're
not
on
the
a good
Angels.
start.
Yeah,
I give them credit.
Yeah.
Wait till Angel finds it. Hey, wait till Angel fans find out there's still 155 games left in the season.
They might not be too happy with that, but Marlins off to a bad start to the season, and really it's just compounding the bad start, bad injury news. Yuri Perez out for the season, going to get Tommy John. That's brutal. A guy he's literally my age. I think he's 20 years old, and is supposed to be one of these young upcoming stars, great pitcher, and now he's injured. Not a good break for the Marlins, and they're just off to a bad start. I mean, that rotation that we were saying, Marlins pitching is going to be good, they just need some offense. Even their pitching at this point, it's decimated, injuries, and let me pull up what it's currently looking like. But all right, Jesus Luzardo, count on that. Yeah, solid pitcher. AJ Puck, Ryan Weathers, Trevor Rogers, and Max Meyer. Max Meyer had a nice start the other day. I will give him that. But still, just crazy that this team that they made the playoffs last year. Not very far, thanks to my Phillies, but still. And now, this early in the season, they're winless, and people are saying, well, it's already time to decide that you're going to be sellers and start trading off these pieces that you brought in or pieces that you have. And it's just a shame because there's a nice little core there. They're just missing that superstar factor, I think. Melo, what do you got? Or Kyle, what do you got on the Marlins?
For me, I think a lot of these challenges that are going the Marlins' way has a lot to do with injuries. Matt, you touched on it. Their pitching staff is decimated completely. And their pitching staff has the potential to be a very good one when this is fully healthy. The Marlins I wasn't high on them at all this year. I really wasn't. I don't think that they have what it takes to compete in their division, let alone the National League as a whole. I like the core of guys they have, though. If you want to get rid of some of these veterans who are on some okay contracts, yeah, that's fine. Whatever you want to do to bring in more prospects, but don't blow it up. I have been begging the Marlins not to blow this thing up for probably going on about a year now. I love their pitching staff when it's healthy, and I love the young guys that they have. If they blow this up and they start trading out some of these really young potential players, I'm out on the Marlins completely. No, it sucks to see because I think Miami has a chance to be a very fun team, and the season just is off to a terrible start. And to be honest with you, this is the way that I see the rest of their season going, healthy or not. I mean, I understand 162 game season, but when you start 0-8 in a division that is absolutely loaded, it's hard. It's going to be very, very hard to come back to even compete for a wild card spot.
Yeah, forget the division. How about the whole National League?
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, there's teams who are out there who just, I'm taking the Reds over them. I'm taking the Giants over them. I'm even taking the Padres over them. Like
Absolutely.
it gets to a point where like I don't know. I understand early season, but I just think it's too late. I mean, it's crazy to say, but I really do. I think it's too late.
And Jazz Chisholm, you've got to wear a lot of this issues because he is not performing right now. And he already made the excuse this past weekend that they're not hitting well because they can't see because of the roof and stuff. And then you do that, and then when you say that, and you still go out there and you're unperforming, you're losing games. That's not a good look. It sucks because the fans don't show up even when they're winning. Do you think they're gonna show up now when you're 0-8? No way. And the other thing too that concerns me, schedule doesn't get any easier either these next couple weeks. After this St. Louis series, they have to play Yankees, Atlanta, Giants, probably a Snell game in there too, and a Logan Webb game in there. Chicago, Atlanta again, and then it gets a little easier with Washington and Colorado. There's not that many wins out there. So this team better figure it out. Otherwise, Kyle just said they're done. And it's crazy to say that by Memorial Day they could be out of this, which is insane. We're barely a quarter of the way the season. But that's the way the Marlins season is going right now. And it's unfortunate.
I mean, maybe give him a little time. We'll see. We'll see. Luis Ariz, Josh Bell, Jake Berger. You like that? You like that top three at least a little bit. There is a lack of star power on this team. There's no doubt. And when your best player is probably Luis Ariz, I mean, listen, there's just not a lot of pop in that lineup. Jake Berger and Josh Bell, sure, but that's more of a guy you'd like to have as an add-on. You don't want to be counting on that guy to give you 30 home runs. You want to be thankful if he does because you had another guy who hit 30 and this is just an add-on. But you don't want to be counting on those guys to be your main pieces of your offense. It's not going to work out. I think, and yeah, I'm with Kyle that it seems like they're going to be sellers pretty early. It's going to be their mind's going to be made up in a competitive National League. I mean, just in their division alone, then you move to the NL Central where there should be 4, if not all 5 teams in competition in a wild card race. The National League West, everybody but the Rockies are in it, or going to try to be. They're trying to be in it. So it's basically the Mets, the Marlins, the Rockies, and maybe we'll see how the Pirates go. But as of right now, no. Those are the only 3 teams that right now you can't say, yep, there's a reasonable chance that they could make the wild card. Now, granted, yeah, a 0-7 start, it could easily turn around for the Marlins, but still. Those 3 teams are ones where you look at and you're like, I could see them being out early and kind of pulling the plug on the season early here. So we'll see how it goes.
What kind of idiot said that the Mets would be in contention for a wild card spot in September? What idiot said that?
I don't know. Who would have said that, Melo?
Yeah. What idiot said that?
I'll double you up here. What idiot said that they're going to be in the fucking postseason this year? Listen, give the Mets time. I still have faith in them, but the Marlins, I do not.
I don't know about that.
Got no hit today.
Yeah.
Hey,
Pedro Martinez picked Luis Severino to be his National League Cy Young pick. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I'm not going that far now. Come on.
Not even for an old pal, Kyle.
Listen, I hope he does well. I really do. I'm hoping for a very good season out of Severino, but I'm not picking him for Cy Young. Maybe 2017, but damn.
Yeah, fair enough. Melo, we got one more topic we want to hit. What is it?
Here's the fun one.
This is the final season for the Oakland Athletics, which sucks.
Terrible.
Their fans have tried everything they could to try and keep this team here in Oakland. Fan fests, protests. They're making their voices very clear, very loud, and very known that they don't like John Fisher and what he's doing. And today was probably the final nail in the coffin for any chance of Oakland staying. They're going to Sacramento. And John Fisher is already on public enemy number one in the city of Oakland. But it's not a good look in the media when you do a press conference like they did today and you don't take any questions. It's not a good look. And in his statement, he said that he's looking forward to other players playing in that ballpark, not his own, others. It's so sad. It's unfortunate for Oakland. It's kind of hard to believe that this is it. This is their final season at the Coliseum, and it sucks.
Kyle, I know you have strong feelings about this.
Oh, of course I do. I will always make them known. The Athletics belong in Oakland. I don't give a shit what anybody says. They belong in Oakland. And for me, John Fisher has done everything in his power to push this fan base away. Completely. And it is honestly depressing. Them going to Sacramento, it sucks because the Athletics, like I said, they belong in Oakland. And we tend to forget that this team is 5 years off from being a literal powerhouse in the AL West. Like, it's so sad to see their fall from grace. And the way they've gone is, like, whenever they're in the news, it is for all the wrong reasons. I completely feel for the fans. I really do, because as you guys have said, you guys touched on it. They have done everything in their power to prove that, guess what? It's not us. The Athletics have fans. They are a historic franchise. They have fans, and they have loyal ones at that. The one thing I will say, and I am a baseball fan first. I really am. And I always want everything the best for the game, and I want this game to grow. But I really hope that none of these fans tag along to Vegas, Sacramento, wherever the hell they're going, because the way this franchise has treated their fan base, it is disgusting. It really is. And not sure if you guys saw it. It was all over Twitter. A little paper that was found. I believe it was like an employee paper, whatever it is, basically telling them to banish all ties with Oakland. And it's, moral of the story, it's sad. It's not right. I understand that you want to move to a city that is a little bit bigger. And we actually just got news that the casino that the A's will build their new stadium on just got demolished today. So this is all in the works. Like, it's going to happen. But they could have done it in a better way. If you want to move your franchise, that's fine. But like I started this off with, they have done everything in their power to push their fan base away, and it's disgusting. They did this completely the wrong way. 100%. They've done this whole entire situation, this whole entire relocation in every way wrong. Every single way. And I just think it's such a bad look for John Fisher. And I feel for these Oakland fans, I really do, because they deserve a team, and they deserve an owner who's actually going to care about this team and their fan base.
It's crazy how good the A's were. Like, just 2020, they were a wild card team. Yep. And you go back, like, the years previous to that, Matt Chapman and Matt Olson at the corners there in that infield, they were a good team. They were a 90-win team. Mm-hmm. And now to where we are today, and just demoting. I know this isn't like John Fisher most likely calling the shots on this exact move, but is Terry Ruiz getting demoted to AAA? It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. And the reason that they gave was like they want to develop him into a better hitter. What do you mean? Terrible. I mean, this guy was off to a good start in his first. He was in the first series of the season, and then you decide to, and then you decide to demote him to AAA. That doesn't make any sense. And okay, you don't want to pay your players. I understand that. I mean, there are teams that go about business that way. The Guardians don't pay a lot of players big contracts. The Rays don't pay a lot of players big contracts. There's teams that take the same route as you, but those teams have been competitive and remain moderately competitive. They're not tanking, and it's getting to the point where it's obvious tanking at this point. Just you're not putting out the best roster you could assemble, whether it's just being cheap and not signing the players or intentionally demoting Esteury Ruiz and not trying to be competitive. That's the main difference here. I mean, the Guardians aren't willing to sign, some of their players to big contracts, but they're still calling up their prospects. I mean, they got lots of young guys in there, and it's not that the A's don't have some, because they have some young, exciting guys. Lawrence Butler is fun to watch play. Esteury Ruiz is fun to watch play. They have guys there, and they've had guys come through their team, like I mentioned. It's just that I don't understand the process. What's the thinking there of, well, you offered Matt Chapman an extension. Sure, he turned it down, and looking back at it from 2024, maybe he should have taken an extension somewhere along the line for him. Maybe it was in Toronto, not Oakland, but still, you're not trying to win. And that's the part that gets to me the most. The fans would appreciate if you're trying to win. Guardians fans get upset. Rays fans don't. They embrace not spending money. But the Guardians fans, I think, get a little bit upset with their ownership for not spending money. But they embrace it because their team is trying to win. Yep. Oakland fans have gotten to the point where it's just, our team's not trying to win. And it's obvious in the team that they put out there every single game. They're not trying to win very hard. And that's where the most frustration, I think, comes from. And now, piling it on top, you're leaving this the city that this team has been in for however long now and has so much history in. And yeah, like Kyle said, I honestly kind of hope some of the fans don't follow along, because you've been mistreated by this team. I know it's your sports team and you love them a lot, and I'd be tough to cut ties with them and find a new fandom, but still, rewarding ownership's bad decisions by staying loyal is a tough thing to do, and I kind of hope some fans don't do it, honestly. But that's my thoughts on it. Either you guys got anything else on it?
I mean, I will say, as Oakland fans as a whole, they've been through a lot of shit in the last few years. I believe Golden State moved out of there, the Raiders moved out of there, and now the A's. I feel for the city, man. I mean, it sucks. It really does.
And on top of it, you have a commissioner who was completely tone deaf to the city also. Yep. And he actually had the balls to say to their fan base, why don't you go be a Giants fan?
Yeah.
Problem solved. I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
Well, okay. I mean, let's be real. Rob Manfred's never been a fan of a team, most likely, in his life. He's just a corporate puppet
read the room a little bit.
Commissioner.
Have some sense and read the room. That's like if the Dodgers relocated, knock on wood, that doesn't happen. And then, hey, why don't you go be an Angels fan?
Yeah.
What? No.
Move back to Brooklyn.
I'd rather drink my own piss than be an Angels
fan. Well, I don't think you have to worry about that, but
no,
it's going to be interesting. The Sacramento A's for 2025, 26, and 27.
The Las Vegas A's of Sacramento.
What a joke.
It's going to be interesting. The one thing you want to worry about now is them putting I just find it embarrassing when teams have to put the tarps over the seats, because it just gets to the point where nobody buys those seats that are so far up in the nosebleeds. I think it's embarrassing when teams have to do that. Well, they won't have to do that now because their stadium that they're staying in Sacramento has like a max capacity of 14,000.
Perfect fit.
Yeah, honestly, you could have like 7,000, and you still might not have had that many sellouts. Just being honest right now.
Yeah.
Maybe the people of Sacramento will be happy to have Major League Baseball in their
In 2
city, and
years.
yeah, and they'll come out and in droves. I don't know, but it's going to be an interesting story to continue to watch and follow here. But I think that's going to be everything for the episode, right? We hit on. We didn't hit on everything, but that's because we're trying to keep it at a reasonable time here. And
We're here for 3
just
hours.
programming, we would be. I could talk about the Phillies' terrible bullpen for 3 hours alone. So
That's the bullpen, Matt.
Oh, Bryce
Come on.
Harper?
Well, Bryce Harper, yeah, 3 home runs. I could talk about that.
Don't look at anything else.
Huh? Programming note, though, this is a rare occasion that we're going to be recording a Thursday episode coming out Friday. Going forward, it's going to be recording Mondays or Tuesdays, coming out the day after. This was just to get the first week all in there, get our schedules set up, and now we're ready to roll into the season. We are back. Baseball is back. It feels good. It's got another 6 months of it. Still, whole half a year of baseball.
Beautiful statement.
It is a beautiful. Yes. Looking forward to it, and we'll talk to you guys next week. See ya.
Adios.